Hi, this is Kathy from Craft with Kathy. Thanks for joining me today. I'm going to do a quick little project using a transfer called I'm the Luckiest, and I'm going to borrow another transfer from The Love Lives Here on a little board and base. And this is a double-sided chalkboard that's removable from the base, can be set in it horizontally or vertically, depending upon what you want to put on the board. So I'm going to remove it from the base so that I can work with it. This is a great surface for beginners, and actually some of our kits actually use the board and base. Our chalkboard is reusable. Remove the paste with water and a paper towel. Our chalk paste is liquid, goes on liquid but dries hard, and it's a water soluble, so when you're tired of the design, you could just spritz it with water, remove it with a paper towel. Easy peasy. So before I actually do the chalkboard, I'm going to put a little design of the hearts on the base because I want this to be a really, really sweet sign. So I need to first fuzz my transfer. So I'm going to deliberately put lint on the back of the transfer so it doesn't stick quite so snugly. And then I'm going to center it on my base to give it a little bit more pizzazz. I think that'll work good. And I'm going to use some gold shimmer paste. Take a little squeegee. Dip it into my paste. You want your paste to always be the consistency of yogurt or sour cream. It shouldn't drip. It should hold on, but it shouldn't be thick or clumpy. And basically, you apply it to the transfer on your surface, and then remove any excess and smooth away any lines that you may have. When you're done, you lift the transfer up. How's that for quick? Now let's look at the transfer. This is a somewhat larger transfer. I'm going to put this aside to dry, and I want it to fit on my board and base. I realize it's going to be a little bit of a tight fit, and I want to actually put it up close to the top because I have to allow for a little bit of space at the bottom that actually fits into the base. So I don't want my design being covered by the base. So I'm going to put this higher up on the top. Our transfers are made out of vinyl and silkscreen. The vinyl is the teal, the silkscreen is what you're seeing the white through. So they're like a fabric if you want to think about it like that. And they have a backer because the transfers are actually adhesive. They're adhesive backed, reusable. They give you great definition. You see the shiny side is the sticky side. And then this backing has a shiny side that you always put back on your transfer, shiny side to shiny side. So again, I'm going to fuzz it, deliberately put a little bit of lint on the back so it doesn't stick so snugly. And that's really more important. It's fine on a chalkboard like this. I'll fuzz it a few times. Oh, this is actually quite sticky. But if you were applying this to glass, because yes, our transfers can be used on wood, chalkboard, dry erase, metal, glass, mirror, anything that's an extremely smooth surface like metal, glass, or mirror, you want to fuzz quite a bit because you don't want it to stick too snugly. Because when you go to lift the transfer up, you don't want to take any chance of actually stretching it or pulling it. And as this is very snug, you can hear it kind of pulling off the fuzzing towel. I'm fuzzing it a little bit more than I would generally. I think this is good. Fuzzing cloth is one side terry, one side microfiber. You always use the terry side to put the lint or the fuzz on your transfer. As you can see, this is a pretty quick process. I want to center that a little bit better here. I want it pretty close up to the top. And then smooth it out to make sure there are no air bubbles. Because of the silk screen, when you put your paste on your surface or on your transfer, you're pushing it through the silk screen, so you want that silk screen to be fitting nice and tightly on your surface or your board or whatever. And it's basically the same process that we just did. Do it again. Apply some paste. This is our shimmer gold. Isn't it beautiful? Gives you a nice shimmery color without having to fiddle around with glitter. Oops, I went a little bit off there. Okay, I'm going to remove any excess paste. Put it back in the jar. And see if I could do a better job right here, because my transfer is actually off the board. So let's get that cleaned up a little bit more. And I realized I was missing a little bit of paste at the bottom of my L here. I didn't get it fully through the silk screen. Okay, that looks good. Now I'm going to lift my transfer up. You always want to lift from the top, the bottom, the left or the right, because as our transfers are like a fabric, you don't want to pull them on the bias and inadvertently stretch them. Oh, I need a place to grab on here. There you go. Isn't that beautiful? If you can butter toast, you can chalk. It's really that simple. Now this is still wet. It's going to take a few minutes to dry, so I'm not going to actually put it in my base, but I think it'll look very nice. I actually had a ribbon that I was going to and a tassel that I was going to dangle from the top, but I think it really doesn't need it, and I don't think there's actually room for it. I had kind of strung this thinking I could dangle it from the top, but I think it probably doesn't need it. I think it's fine without it. We have that little embellishment of the base down here. I think it'll be very pretty. How simple, quick, and easy was that? Cleanup is a snap. Let me close up my jar of paste. And I'll show you how we clean a transfer. Now, generally, I would put this in a water bath, just a bowl of water. But as I have that sitting in my sink right now, I'm going to do it without it. Let me just move this out of the way a little bit so I have a little bit more area to work. So you would just rinse this in a water bath or run it under a faucet of water. Lukewarm water is fine. Being that I don't have that here, I'm just spraying my surface so that it's moist and won't stick to the bottom because it is adhesive. And I'm spraying it with a little bit of water. So I can use either my board eraser to clean off the excess chalk paste, or I could use a disinfectant wipe. And I know disinfectant wipes have been in short supply, so a board eraser does well. And the board eraser has an extra benefit, is if you're using any chalk paste that's highly pigmented and stains your transfer, the board eraser will usually remove most of that. If your transfer does become stained though, it's fine. It has no impact on its usability. And then you want to remove the chalk paste from the back. Now I am going to use a disinfectant wipe to wipe off any of the lint that's on the back of that transfer. Which basically will refresh the adhesive. So when I clean off the chalk, I usually use a circular motion. When I'm removing the lint, I try and go in a straight line. And you'll notice, oh, there wasn't too much lint on here, but your disinfecting wipe will usually pick it up, or your board eraser. And that's it. Now I just need to put this somewhere to dry, sticky side up. And if you want a little trick in how to dry it quick, put it on your fuzzing towel on the microfiber side, sticky side up. Fold the towel, squeeze out the moisture, and this will make it quite sticky quite quickly, and it also helps it dry much quicker. I'm going to just set it over here until it's fully dry. Oops. Sticky side up, remember. And then when it's dry, I will return it to its paper backing. Remember, the adhesive side goes to the shiny side of the backer. The other side of the backer is dull. That pretty much is it in a nutshell. How easy is this? Goes on liquid, dries hard. Now to clean it, I would dry dust. If you want it permanent and you're not going to use your surface again, you can actually apply a sealant, which then will withstand getting wet. But I really don't think it's generally necessary. I'm afraid to run my hand over that. It's probably close to dry. But anyway, so it goes on liquid, dries hard. Simple, easy, right? Thank you for watching. Have a great weekend.